You already know I gotta go live, because if I don't go live, I'm not gonna be live. It's a lot of shit we gotta talk about. So if you wanna hop in, you can hop in the live chat. But it's a lot to talk about, man. Let me see.
Just give me a minute. I was watching a video before you joined. So.
How about this? I'll give you 9 minutes.
That's probably how much is left of the video anyway.
Getting on my neck. I'm sniffing on a pile of grease. Oh yes. Good stuff right there. Great stuff. Oh, fuck. Testing. That's working. What's up, everybody? We got some, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. What's going on, everybody? I'm just gonna go post my notification over on Twitter. I already did everywhere else. I am going to go put my headphones on, make sure everything's good over there. I think we have the background music. I want to have that projected to the headset. We getting W after W. I am going to go put my headphones on, make sure everything's good over there. Oh, we got an echo too? Great. At least we know the mic working. Okay, so we're good on that. What's going on, Mass Produce? How you doing? What's going on, Prince Groove? How you doing? The Lakers are still in it? I thought the Lakers were out. I'm looking for one more thing. We put the remix there. I don't think I did. But we didn't do this. We didn't mess with the Elgato sound because it's best to mess with this. Yep, there we go. Okay, here we go. So guys, we got the state of play earlier this morning. I was at work when that happened. That was around 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time when we got that announcement. I'm not off on the day we have the state of play. I'm not off, but I do get off at 2 p.m. So I did look forward, and I did see that I'm getting off at 2 p.m. that day, so that's good. Strategically, this puts PlayStation ahead of the Xbox showcase, which will be the end of the week on that Sunday. And it also puts it ahead of the Summer Game Showcase by Jeff Keighley, which will be on Thursday of that week. So Sony will start out the week when it comes to gaming news for the month of June. That's completely different, where normally Sony will go last, but it looks like this week Sony will be going first. And that only is if Nintendo doesn't try to upend them by going on Monday or earlier that day. So we're waiting to see. We're waiting to see when Nintendo wants to go. The game was way too late for me. I didn't even try to catch that. My team is out. Golden State got kicked out early. It's good stuff right there. Well, the thing is, when it comes to Xbox fans wanting exclusives, it's funny. Because I looked over a good amount of them on that website that we do have on standby, so we can go take a look at the website and see how many more of them have voted it up. I think earlier this evening or this afternoon I saw that it was at 11,000, but I haven't checked. And I think it was based on this morning, because I saw when I went to it, it was at 11,000. When Tim Dog posted on Twitter, he must have taken a screenshot when it was still at 11,000. That's not good, though. You know, it should be like in the hundreds of thousands. If it's really a lot of Xbox fans over there that really care, it should be a much higher rate than just 11,000. And they put up that website like 3 days ago. So that puts things into perspective. But we do have a state of play. It's going to be big. It's over 60 minutes long. They are putting it in the movie theater. Sony has not put a state of play or anything in the movie theater since 2018. So for them to go back to the movie theaters and put a state of play in the movie theater, especially one that's going to be 60 minutes plus, this means that they want the world to see whatever else they're going to show. Nate the Hate has also confirmed that there will be more than just God of War and Wolverine shown at this state of play. Now, don't take my words on it. He never confirmed that God of War was going to be shown off, but the individual that asked him the question says, is there going to be more than God of War and Wolverine shown off? And all he said was yes. Nate the Hate is a prolific insider, so he knows what he's talking about. But I also do find it funny how nobody was able to accurately pinpoint the announcement of when Sony was going to announce the state of play. One of the reasons is because so many people were still being paid off by Microsoft to hype up Forza. A lot of people were confused and pissed off about the new development on Monday that PlayStation's pulling back from PC. There was so much going on, and it wasn't even because like a game had dropped or anything, because Forza, let's be honest, most of that coverage that ended on Sunday because a lot of people already had the game for like a good portion of last week. So when we look at like Monday and Tuesday and even today is Wednesday, nobody was even thinking about a state of play. It was just, like from what I've seen online, a lot of journalists are running around and reposting their original article about the new feedback website, especially because the top request is for exclusives. So I'm not even seeing like IGN. IGN did not talk about PlayStation pulling back from PC, but Kind of Funny Games did. Like that's where it gets really weird. I want to move over to full screen in a little bit. Don't worry. We're going to come back to the exclusive Let's Chat layout. But yeah, man, it's really weird that the journalists, which we already knew, were undercover PC and Xbox sympathizers, are so fucking obvious in their bias against Sony. But Sony does so many things that you just have to cover them. As much as they hate them, you got to cover them. From what I know, they didn't make a video about it, but Digital Foundry is not happy about PlayStation keeping their games off of PC. Why? Well, Digital Foundry is a PC-centric game analysis YouTube channel. That's what they are. They're a PC-centric game analysis YouTube channel. So, of course, they're not going to like it. I know the day that shit go down, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be on fire that day. I was thinking of taking the day off, but I was like, I don't want to take the day off. Because the showcase happens on that Tuesday. So I'm gonna tell you how the week plans out that week from what I saw. I'm gonna be working like Monday, Tuesday, and obviously Wednesday, but I'm off Thursday. But the previous day I'm off that Sunday. So you won't see me like live on Wednesday. You may see me. It all depends. I do want to have a YouTube short out. And I am planning some YouTube shorts because it's important to get this information out in a different way. Not everybody's going to watch the live stream. Not everybody's clicking on the community section. That's perfectly fine. Not everybody is engaged on my Twitter account or a part of our Discord. That's also good. But I have to get this information out because there are other people in our community that, with all disrespect to these guys, they're not doing it right. And I've waited way too fucking long for these guys to fucking do the right shit the right way. And they're not. Like, MBG is dishonest. He hypes up things and he lies about shit all the time. Can't trust the guy. He didn't pick a side. During the whole putting games on PC, the whole 6 year, he did not pick a side. I always picked a side. I picked a side before they even put games on PC. Before they even considered putting games on PC, I already had my side. I was completely against that shit. I knew what was going to happen. I knew these guys were never going to buy a PlayStation. They already had said as much. I'll tell you what I heard many years ago before Sony even did it. Oh, I'm not going to buy a PlayStation for one game. Okay. But every time you say that, there's more games, right? Oh, Bloodborne, I'm not buying a PlayStation for one game. Spider-Man, I'm not buying a PlayStation for one game. That example right there, there's 2 games then. But you keep regurgitating that stupid ass sentiment, I'm not going to buy a console for one game. That means you're never planning on being a consumer. Sony thought that if they put games on PC, they could get these guys to come over here and be a consumer. They did not want to do that. They told you so, Sony. From before you even put games on there, they already let you know they were going to make bullshit excuses as to why they weren't going to fucking buy your system. 6 years later, after the strategy started, now they're saying, well, no, I'm definitely not buying your system. You didn't buy it to begin with. How are you gonna say, oh, I'm not buying your system because you keeping your shit exclusive when you didn't buy the system because they put the games on your platform and you said, now I don't have a reason to buy your system. So now they announced that they're not gonna put the games on your system, and now your excuse is, well, I'm not gonna buy your system because you keep it exclusive. So whether you got what you wanted or you didn't get what you wanted, you're still not buying their system. This is why the PC community is a bunch of dumbasses. They publicly told Sony that they weren't ever going to buy their system, and they thought that Sony was in some weird way locked to that community. They thought that they were providing so much financial value to Sony that they could do that type of thing. Like laugh in Sony's face and then Sony wouldn't leave because they thought that they were providing so much financial value. Well, the fact of the matter is, after Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone and the first 2 to 3 years of putting games on PC, the value dropped and you guys started buying less games. And it looked, well, let's not say it looked, but it was confirmed that you weren't worth it in the end. There's 6 years later. Sony's leaving. It's confirmed they're leaving. It's confirmed that they're leaving. But there was something that happened yesterday that I didn't talk about. There was something that was shown off yesterday that I didn't talk about. And we got to go to full screen because this is the proof. Oh, Truity, I'm sorry. You're still on the phone? Let me get off the phone. I'm in the chat. Okay. So, here we go. So, I won't be getting on the camera. It's late. So, I won't be doing that. Let's see. We got that. We don't need this right now. One second, let me just. Perfect. Okay. Put my little avatar up there. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm not gonna have anything in the corner because I think we need to clean it up. So, what I do want to show you guys is that we did get the new layout. Truity claims that he already saw it. Somebody else, you can let me know if you ever saw it before. But the new animated layout that Naughty Dog confirmed that we were getting first, or we're getting new, is right here. Now, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and if I clean up this stuff, I can do it. There was a way that somebody had showed me how to clean this up, or I saw it on somebody else's setup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna decrease this, move it down, decrease that. I'll just decrease this, put this over here. Actually, I don't want that there. I don't actually need that. I can decrease this though. So you still can't see a lot, but this is what the UI looks like. This one's very, very dynamic, themey. It's a lot going on. It's a lot moving around. You see lightning strikes on the left side. You see the sun setting on the right side, or the sun rising on the right side. You see the compass moving. It's very dynamic. It's a lot more going on in this than any other theme. But Truity says he had it already. I don't know. What really piqued my interest is that this was a new theme that they didn't confirm, and this one was new. This one doesn't really have any symbols or anything, but it moves. It's animated. But this one right here, I've seen this before, right? I've seen this before. I cover themes for many, many years now, over 10 years of covering themes, and I saw that before. Now, this was the video I was in the process of watching. I'll say, Greg, shout out to you, sticking to your guns. He understands the importance of exclusives. This guy over here, as you can see how worried he is, he must have invested a lot in his PC and thought that Sony wasn't going to back out and that he was going to still be able to play the games that he finds exciting on his platform of choice. Faced with the realization that that's not going to happen anymore, as you can see the worry on his face, shit ain't going his way. But he believes that Sony shouldn't make this call. Again, similar to the other PC fans that said, oh, Sony should not have made this this call. I believe that Sony should have made this call. You know. Actually, let me see. I'm gonna my eyes. I gotta get something from my eyes. Okay. Not ideal, but we gotta do it. I do want to be on camera because why not? So I agree with everything that I heard so far from Greg. The other guy, he's not making sense. He understands that exclusives are a good value for your platform. Giving away what makes you special doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Like if McDonald's gave away every recipe that let me just be honest. It's not an if scenario. When other people got better, you started buying at their restaurants. Example. I'll tell you the story of just legendary proportion of what happens when, when somebody else does better than you. Well, yes, we know PlayStation did better than Sega and Sega left, but just in the real world, outside of gaming, look at how it happens in real life and what happens. Like when you take something special from something else and you apply it to you and you do better, look what happens. Just trust me on this one. Quizno versus Subway. There's not a lot of Quiznos around. And the reason why is because Subway adopted the oven technique, which you can toast your sub. Before Quiznos, Subway never did that. You just got a nice cold sub, right? You can still put stuff on there, but you never got a toasty sub. Now, when you go take a look at this image, both of the subs are toasted, but it was not always that way. Quizno came out and did that, and they were hot fire at the time. As soon as fucking Subway did it, people was like, wait up. And you got the $5 footlong at the time? What the fuck is even the point? What the fuck is even the point? Look at this. This is 18 years ago. This is Quizno 18 years ago. What people don't understand is the Quizno situation. It happened many years ago. Quiznos, you can barely find one in this country. Look at this right here, 9 months ago. The rise and fall of Quizno subs. 5,000 stores to whatever number he gave you. Like Quiznos was everywhere, bro. This was a big thing. 19 years ago. This is a big fucking thing, bro. This is a big fucking thing. So, this is what happened if what you have is special and it is either taken or given to someone else. Subway didn't toast their subs until Quiznos came along. Then Subway invested into the ovens. They toasted their subs. Nobody cared about Quiznos because you already knew about Subway, but that was the only thing that kept you going to fucking Quiznos, right? So if we go back to Greg Miller's video, why the fuck does it make sense to? Why the fuck does it make sense to put your exclusives on PC? Why would that even make you want to buy a fucking console?
With living room exclusivity. I don't think so. This is a conversation that came up as well with, Project Helix. PlayStation doesn't want their thing on an X. And it's like, I'm sure someone inside of PlayStation doesn't like that, but the adoption rate of that, the adoption rate of the Xbox ROG, like it's already happening that you could do all of this and be playing all your Xbox and all your PlayStation games on a PC in your living room. It's like, I don't think the Steam machine is that level of a threat. I think when the Steam machine comes out and is hopefully a huge success and suddenly people are like, there's a lot of things that need to happen for that to be the concern. I think the concern is way more the economics of how much it costs to make a console, the economics of tariffs, the economics of digital exclusive and buying rights and all these different things. Like, I feel that's where their head's at. And I think that the PC stuff was an experiment to see if there was money in those hills. And there's clearly not enough money to justify this, let alone like we're talking about, well, we brought Nix's in to do this and now that didn't really work out. So we're paying for this entire studio that's doing great work, but it's not
maybe less work now.
Exactly. It's not ending with them actually getting money on this.
Yeah, and I guess on the flip side of it, when we talk about PC, it doesn't help that. It doesn't help Sony that Steam is taking 30% of those profits.
Exactly.
From their PC sales.
I mean, the way you're making money, right?
Sorry, I was eating my chicken wings. I'm being a fat ass right now. Exactly. Everybody that talks about games on PC, you're leaving money on the table. PC fans say you're leaving money on the table, but those same PC fans will never admit that Valve is taking 30% cut for every single fucking game that Sony puts on PC. So the little bit of money that we have on file that they lose, you take 30% away from every single sale that they had put on PC. And then for the real cheap bastards, the ones that don't like buying games day one, the ones that get games gifted to them, like they're not a part of the number because they're making so little money so late that by the time an individual comes around to buying a game, well, we're now in a reality where Sony has reversed the PC strategy. Some individuals on PC knew about this. They knew Sony was putting games on there, and they still have not purchased a lot. I heard a lot of individuals on Reddit thinking they're talking behind people's back, confirming as much. That a lot of the games that PlayStation has put on PC, they have not purchased. Because they're still waiting for those games to drop in price. You think, if I can see this data, if I can see this information, you think Sony is not looking at this same information online? Where they're looking at these guys say, oh, I haven't purchased your game yet. I want to wait for it to go cheaper. Bro, you're never going to make money off of that person. We buy games day one. When Soros came out, like I said, I have more people on my friends list that have Soros than have Crimson Desert. And that's saying a lot. What's that saying is not that Crimson Desert is selling worse than Soros. It means that PlayStation fans are very loyal to the brand. They understand the importance of supporting an exclusive title. That does not mean every single game is going to sell gangbusters, but it does mean if you're in a close-knit community like mine, of people that understand the mission, hey, we're more valuable. We've always been more valuable. What we did versus what PC fans did is we showed over the last 6 years that we will buy games. When Spider-Man 2 launched over here, we brought the fuck out of it. When Spider-Man 2 launched on PC, nobody touched it and they pirated it. There's a big difference, and Sony saw that. Year after year, game after game, they saw the disparity in value by comparing the two fucking ecosystems. Am I saying all right? Communities. Sorry. PlayStation versus PC. I know this is not something that the PC fans want to understand. And I did mean that. They don't want to understand this. It's right there in their face why Sony did it. And they do not want to understand it. Oh, you're leaving money on the table. Bro, 6 years, you didn't give them enough. Oh, you're leaving money on the table. And then when you look at the money, you see it's only $1 and some quarters. It's not enough. It's not enough. And then people on the PC side will say, well, if you just put the game over there day and date, but doesn't that devalue the system? Isn't that the reason why you, behind everybody's back, and we can still see you, by the way, say, there's no reason to buy a console. I'm already getting your games. Now, you amplify that by bringing the games over day and date, and what do you think you're going to say? Oh, it's no reason for me to buy a PlayStation. I'm already getting your games day one. Again, you're saying the quiet part out loud. And then when Totoki came over and took over from Jim Ryan, you continued to say this shit online, and you thought he wasn't reading this shit? I did research this morning, and everybody will tell me, Well, Death Stranding 2 is the last game that went over. No. It wasn't Death Stranding. It was Spider-Man 2. Let me correct you. Death Stranding was always going to go to PC because Kojima wanted to go to PC. Kojima is not a PlayStation studio. The last PlayStation studio owned game that went to PC was in February of 2025. That was Spider-Man 2. That was Spider-Man 2. We're not talking about Stellar Blade. We already know Sony doesn't own that studio. We know Sony doesn't own Kojima. We know Sony doesn't own what is it? Shift Up. We're talking about Sony owned studio. That means was a decision, their decision to put the games over there or keep putting the games over there. Their last game was February 2025, Spider-Man 2. You think I'm joking? You think I'm joking? See, that's the thing. PC fans don't do any research. It was already fucking over. When you pirated Spider-Man 2 and the sales were lower and slower than the first game on your platform, you already showed them you're not worthy. You already showed them you have no worth. Spider-Man 2 PC port. Let's see if we can get that trailer. There should be a trailer, right? There we go. 1 year ago. Launch trailer. Let's see what a launch trailer says. Launch trailer should give us a date. And there we go. Oh, actually it wasn't February. It was January. See right there? I don't know if y'all can see that. I don't think y'all can see that. It says January 30th, 2025. So Spider-Man 2 was the last game that went to PC from Sony Studios. Which means, you know, that's Sony Studios. They had the power to say, yeah, keep putting that over there. They didn't have any power for Shift Up. It was a timed exclusivity. Kojima had it in his contract to always put the game on PC. Now Kojima owns the rights for Death Stranding, and Shift Up has confirmed they're going day and date multi-plat with all platforms they possibly can. So, you know, Sony doesn't have any control over that. They never did. But when it came to the games from studios they had control of, this was the last game. Yep, this was the last game. And it's funny because even when you look at this trailer, it looks nice, but it's not on our level. For the majority of people that play on PC, they're not going to be playing on this level, and they're not going to play on the level of the PS5 Pro owners. That's a fact. It's funny. But yeah, what they don't understand is that this was the last straw for Sony. When this game came over, let's get that out of here. We'll watch that later. Okay. When this game came over, they didn't, and it didn't do good on PC. They were like, hey, yeah, what's the point? Like, they invested a lot of money into the game, and then when they brought it out on PC, they was like, nah, bro, this is not working. This is not working. So yeah, this is a straw that broke the camel's back. It was Spider-Man 2. And you know, there were, you know, we got to admit there were some inclusive storylines, some storylines people may claim as woke. They were pride flags. a lot in the streets of New York on Spider-Man 2. And obviously the anti-woke movement was pretty prevalent at that point in time. So it kind of makes sense why, PC fans didn't support it. However, they were the ones that said they wanted the game. Like that's where it gets really weird. This is also by the same studio that is currently leaking the story for Wolverine. I'm not going to show any more than that, but they're currently leaking the story for Wolverine. This person posted this video 1 year ago. When will Insomniac get around to banning these people? I don't know when. I know I have a certain job. I know I can see this stuff. I'm going to be seeing if I can get in contact with somebody in upper management for Insomniac or something, and I don't know if they can or they can't, but just, like they're posting a lot. I like that one, this one right here, this video is still up. Why is it still up? I don't know. Is it polished? No. It's obviously not polished. However, they're still posting it. It's still up. This guy, he posted this 6 months ago. So that was like at the beginning of the year. He's the worst one. He's the worst one. But yeah. Long story short, I do believe when the PC fans hacked and leaked Wolverine and played the unfinished and currently is playing the unfinished version of Wolverine, I think there was a combination of things that made it a very easy decision to just abandon the PC strategy. And I know a lot of PC fans will claim that none of this is true, but you can't prove that because they're leaving. All of this together is the reason why they're leaving. If it's not true, why are they not staying? Like, we already know you guys don't buy games. We can look at the Steam database. When it came to PlayStation games, you didn't care. So why do you care that they're leaving? You didn't care enough to buy the games when they were over there. Lovely. I'm good. I know what it is. I'm good. I'm going to go back and listen to what Greg said.
Exploit, but double down on these people and make them be the ones that are doing the money for us is like, you need them in the ecosystem, right? Like, you look at any subscription service, the entire point is trying to keep you in that service. And it's what Xbox tried to do with their Game Pass, forefront argument, which worked to some degree, but not to what they needed it. And I think PlayStation looks at them and goes, oh man, they are a warning to us of putting all the eggs in one basket. Because PlayStation, again, continues, like, it might have been a Gregway question. It might have been a question on one of the shows. I forget. I apologize. But hey, the Portal is awesome. Maybe it was just a Reddit conversation. The Portal is awesome. Why isn't PlayStation promoting the Portal more? And it is that argument of, like, again, if you really wanted to, you could buy a PlayStation Portal and PlayStation Plus, and you could be streaming your games and not need to buy the even more expensive unit to put on your TV. Like, there's a way to enter into the ecosystem that Xbox was very forefront of. xCloud, everything's an Xbox. And PlayStation has all that. I can remote play on my phone. It's like that technology's there, but PlayStation continues to be like that. We see the percentage of people, I assume, we're not a fly on the wall. we see the percentage of people who are actually using that, and it just doesn't make sense for us to promote that as a mainstream thing, because as Ox Pope pops in, PlayStation relies on people staying on their platform and playing third-party games to collect their 30%. If people play on PC, they might stay there to play the big things as well. Exactly back to our point of splitting the money with Steam. Who do you want to be getting this point? PlayStation wants to own that for as long as fucking possible. And eventually, if PlayStation needs to jettison, like we always worried about with Nintendo, like we talk about currently with Xbox, and become a third-party publisher, fine, but they're far from that right now.
I think a lot of it also just likely comes down to just not seeing the return that they were hoping for with the more and seeing that sort of downward trajectory of sales on PC. Otherwise, I would feel like if Sony felt threatened, we would see high sales of the most recent releases on PC. If the sales were really high, then they would be like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, they would keep going.
What if that become? Well, we see a lot of high sales there, but what if that then becomes the preferred place to play PlayStation games? And what if those gamers are now seeing, oh shit, I could just play this here now and be done with my PlayStation as a device? I just feel like the PlayStation audience is like way too loyal to peace out and go play somewhere else.
And I feel like we said that about Xbox for.
Let me correct the guy. Yeah, let's talk. Let me correct this guy. PlayStation fans are loyal. That's not the question here. The question is, when games like Bloodborne came out and Spider-Man 2018 and all the PS4 exclusives that came out, and when they were out, they were PS4 exclusives, and you saw the only on PlayStation logo, and you knew this was the only place to go. There were people that were PC centric. They were PC gamers. They were PC fans that creeped their way on to buying a PlayStation 4 that gen to play those exclusives. When you gave them so many different reasons why not to buy a PS5 by continuously putting the biggest games on PC, that hurt, and it stopped anybody from feeling like they needed a PlayStation, especially what I call the stragglers. They're not loyal. They're not on our level. They want handouts. If you don't even give them handouts like Sony did back in the day with PS4, well, guess what? Guess what? They're going to have to buy your console. If the game's big enough, if the game's hot enough, they're going to buy your console. Shit, you can joke about Sony being third party all you want. It does not fucking matter. When Grand Theft Auto comes out, you're going to want to buy a PlayStation 5. That is what's going to happen. Or you're going to be on PC and you're going to be crying and bitching, and we're going to tease you because that's what you deserve. But as of right now, you have to understand, I know you guys, and I know a lot of you guys purchased the PS4 because a lot of you guys behind closed doors said it on the forums of Reddit, in the crevices of the fucking community on X. I know this shit. So don't pretend like you didn't own a PS4 or you didn't go out and pick up a PS4 because you knew those games weren't coming over. Fast forward to the PS5, you find out about the initiative, you stop in your tracks, you feel like you don't need to buy one. And then year after year after year, Sony is giving you more and more reasons why not to buy it. They do an audit to Toki. He's the finance guy, just from what I know, or the numbers guy. They do an audit. They say, this ain't working. Jim, fucking take your early retirement. Herman, you need to turn this around. Nishino, we need to see which one of y'all, are the rats. Which one of you guys are responsible for this shit? Which one of you guys can actually turn this around? Or was it a whole publicity stunt with the dual managership stuff? But obviously Toki picked Nishino to run PlayStation. And things have gotten better. And what I mean by that, they're stopping the PC strategy. That was right there. That was one of the worst things they've ever done. I think that right there, they can get back to normal by not focusing on that piece of shit platform. That was the worst thing they've ever done, is focus on PC. Give them any type of fucking acknowledgement. They don't deserve it. They never deserved it. I find the whole thing funny. The first two individuals that started this are the two individuals that were the messengers to end it. I want y'all to remember this. Jason Schreier leaked in 2020 that PlayStation was going to start bringing games to PC. And then right before his birthday, I will never forget this because it was the cockiest move and I hated it. Herman, before he went on a yacht for his birthday, and yes, he did go on a yacht for his birthday with his family, he announced that Horizon Zero Dawn was going to be coming to the PC. And I quote, just because Horizon Zero Dawn goes to PC does not mean other games are going to come over. And that was a lie. One of the biggest lies ever. Jason Schreier, not once, but twice, confirmed that PlayStation was going to stop the strategy. During the second time, he confirmed that Herman had gave a early Monday morning town hall to the PlayStation studios to let them know that their single player games were not going to go to PC and that they were going to remain exclusive. So again, the first two guys that said the PC strategy was going to start are the first two guys that said the PC strategy is going to end. I do not believe in that type of a coincidence. I believe that Totoki knew what was going on, and he designed this, what we just dealt with between Monday and today, especially with the state of play. Now, I'm going to come back to that video. But there was a video that I wanted you guys to see that Sony posted yesterday. Some of you guys may have seen it. Some of you guys have probably glanced over it. And you don't understand the significance behind it. You know, because there are people right now. Nobody cares. There are people right now that are claiming that Sony is still going to put games on PC. Okay, if you believe that. Now, let's go take a look at what happened. Let's take a look at the strategy. Okay. Every detail matters. PlayStation 5 Pro promotion. Right? Right here. This is the PlayStation 5 Pro commercial advertisement. Right? Now, they did that yesterday. And then they announced the state of play today. And what happened on Monday? Jason Schreier said that no more PC ports. You think that's not by design? 3 days, 3 big pieces of news. Yesterday, you may not think is a big piece of news, but let's go take a look at this trailer, and you be the judge. We'll detail this trailer, and you'll be the judge. It only has 51,000 views, but you'll be the judge. They're not talking. They just have it. Letting the gameplay do the talking. It was similar to a quote that we heard back in the day. I'll let the games do the talking. I think I heard that from Jim Ryan right before one of the state of plays or showcase. I'll let the games do the talking. So in this video, they let the games do the talking by showing off how they look on the PlayStation 5 Pro and how they run. Not a single. I want to let you know. Do you know at the bottom where they used to be like, oh, this game is also on this platform. You know, like you can buy it now on this platform. What do you see at the bottom? You think that I'm making that shit up? Come on. What do you see at the bottom? It says captured on PS5 Pro, mix of gameplay and in-game cinematics. Nowhere at the bottom do you see also available on PC. That's why this was important, because it's the first PS5 Pro advertisement that I ever seen. It's not mixed with PC. They're not talking about the normal PS5. It's just PS5 Pro. And nowhere at the down the bottom or at the end of the video or the beginning do they mention PC or any of these games being available on PC. We know that they are available on PC, but they are not saying that anymore. Obviously, there's absolutely no benefit in hyping up any game being on PC. And as you know, Ghost of Yotai is not on PC. I've watched a lot of trailers. I know PlayStation Magic. I know when they're gearing up for something. And when I saw this trailer yesterday, I called my boy Truity and I was like, bro, you got to take a look at this trailer. You got to listen to the track. They're doing something magical here and they're getting ready for something, man. I was like, bro, this is like after what happened with the Jason Schreier announcement on Monday and they posted this yesterday. I was like, they're getting ready for something. They're not just going to randomly post this. And then what do we get today? A state of play announcement. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over by a long shot. I don't know what the next announcement is going to be tomorrow, but Sony is not, and I said this a lot of times, they're not going to let Microsoft disrespect them by showing off Forza. What do you think that means in the chat? How is Forza disrespecting Sony? The new Forza Horizon 6. How do you believe that game and the existence of that game is a shot at Sony? What do you think? What do you think that means? Oh, I mean, I really do hope they pin the failures on Herman. I don't think Herman deserves to make it and at his current position going into the PlayStation 6. I think he needs to be replaced, and I hope they found his replacement, and I hope they announce that as soon as possible. He made a massive mess. That was a shot at Sony, but what was really a big shot is that Forza took place in Japan, which is Sony's home turf. That was the shot. See, a lot of people think that just because Xbox puts their games on PlayStation's platform, they're not being competitive. They're not doing the same old strategy. They're smart. They're very, very smart. You know, they're very smart. So, yeah, they definitely took shots at Sony. And Sony was like, oh, you want to play that game? We can literally dominate the news cycle with an announcement that we're not going to put games on PC. Now, the video right here that we just watched together, that might not mean a lot to a lot of people. But if you look at that video, what you see is after Jason Schreier made the announcement Monday, this video is posted on Tuesday and there's no mention of PC. Now, also, we go back to like a week or two ago. The financials came out. The earnings call came out. No mention of PC. It was confirmed that they were done with PC. We already knew they were done with PC. PC fans still don't know that they're being broken up with. They don't know it. They see all the signs. They got the letter. They got the email. They got the phone call. Sony even told them in person that fuck you. We're done. And they still don't understand. They still don't understand. Okay, that's how I'm about to have my shit look. Now, we don't have the new UI update yet. I don't know when the fuck that's coming on. It would be maximum damage if they can give us that UI update around the state of play, before the state of play or right after or during. I don't know, but that in itself would, I would assume that would dominate the news cycle quite heavily. Now what we did get is the brand new 3 UIs that are animated. We got the symbol one that I was just using, and then they have this one that is constantly moving and stuff. That's pretty cool if that's what you want. They are investing a lot into the UI. I will say that. Because the majority of the time that we had it, they weren't like always adding the best, you know? Some of it was just whatever. But now it's like they're actually trying to give us the best. And again, you guys already saw this one. The Uncharted one. We covered that one. Yeah, the Forza stuff. I mean, the craziest thing about Forza is, even before you like search a game by name, it says these are trending games. It says these are trending games. It says Grand Theft Auto 6, and then it says Forza Horizon 6. You know, I know that Xbox fans believe that Forza Horizon 6 isn't coming to PlayStation, and I hope their dreams come true. I hope this game doesn't touch a PlayStation 5. That means the financial responsibility of the success of that game is on the shoulders of it should only be the Xbox fans, but they like to share responsibility. On the shoulders of the PC and the Xbox community, with all the heavy lifting being done by the PC community. Because during my last stream, I was looking for Xbox fans that own the game early, and we could not find any. What we did find is a majority of the people that we know on YouTube that play it through PC, they were big time YouTubers, which means they got a code. I don't think I even ever heard a PC fan say, oh, I paid that $120 to play the game early. And I'm pretty sure you guys can't remember any of that shit happening either. I can't read what you're saying. You said Goku. You said, will Sony desist their games from Steam? I think you meant to say delist. I don't know. I'm a gamer just like you. I don't know. I want them to. I hope they would, but I don't know. We all have to find that out in the future. What does older IP have attention to detail? I don't know what you mean by that question. But since Briario said something about IGN, let's go to IGN real quick. Let's see if we can give them a benefit of the fucking doubt real quick. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to their page. We're gonna see what's new and we're gonna see what's not new. So they quickly, as you can see right here while we were live 16 minutes ago, they posted an Accolades trailer very quick. Very, very quick. Now, let's continue to scroll down. Daily Fix. Open World Lord of Rings game announced. What did they do yesterday? Xbox fans demand return to exclusives. But when it came to PlayStation, they only reported that PlayStation Plus went up. They never reported that PlayStation games were going to be taken away from PC. That is the biggest news story of the fucking week. And IGN never put that in any of their headlines. They specifically withheld information from the gaming public. And people want to know why I don't fucking like them and why I don't fucking trust them.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, I know you. This is the dickhead that blocked me on fucking Twitter. He's a long time IGN fucking journalist, and he's an Xbox fan. Hold on. Something about PlayStation Plus, something about that. No. We're not talking about that, not talking about that, not talking about any of that. Nope. No mention of PlayStation taking their games off of PC. Let's go to the Xbox one they covered yesterday.
What's up, everybody? Damon here, and in today's gaming news, Xbox fans really want their exclusives back. More games are coming to Game Pass, and Fortnite returns to the Apple App Store. This new daily.
Again, I'm not understanding here because for 2 straight days, let me turn the volume up just in case you guys can't hear. It looks like for 2 straight back-to-back days, when it came to the daily fix, they never confirmed that PlayStation was taking their games off of PC. Every other publication covered it. And you would expect IGN to cover it, but they did not cover it. This is where it gets crazy. They're purposely withholding information from the majority of the gamers. But the coolest thing about it is everybody knows. Even if IGN refuses to post it on their YouTube channel, everybody knows. And when they do stuff like this, Sony has to remind people with a state of play. So if you don't believe that a lot of PC fans are going to be crying, you are sadly mistaken. They're going to be crying going into the state of play, and they're definitely will be crying coming out of the state of play. Because there are going to be some great games there that they know they're not getting anymore.
Fix.
Get all that soundbite out. Asher Sharma, blah, blah, blah.
Lead and retreat from a multi-platform approach.
Blah, 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 blah.
Global platform means weighing a lot of...
Blah, 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 blah. Don't care.
And the tiny bug collection...
Nobody cares.
...practices of banning alternative...
Nobody cares.
IGN.
So, again, daily fix, but they didn't say anything about PlayStation. But we're going to watch the whole segment and see what he said. But as you can clearly see, PlayStation didn't get any segment on the news that broke. They are very good friends with Jason Schreier, and they've used a lot of his leaks and reporting multiple times to cover. So it is, I don't believe they're not covering it because it's from Jason Schreier. I believe they don't want to cover it because it goes against their entire narrative. And they are, let's just say, embarrassed that Sony woke up and realized what these guys were all trying to do to them. Trying to convince them to go in an area that was financially damaging to their brand.
Requests. Perhaps predictably, the request with the most votes is a return to exclusives. Microsoft's multi-platform push may have increased sales. Forza Horizon 5, for example, has found significant success on PlayStation 5, but it has come at the expense of alienating hardcore Xbox fans. Earlier this month, it was reported that new Xbox boss Asha Sharma was treading carefully as she worked out what to do with exclusive games. Sharma, who replaced Phil Spencer as boss of Xbox earlier this year, has spent her first few months in the job making a number of significant changes as Microsoft works to win back the hearts and minds of its core gaming fans. Among them was the end of the controversial This Is an Xbox marketing campaign and a Game Pass price cut. Perhaps most significant of all, Microsoft has said it will reevaluate our approach to exclusivity, a tantalizing tease, particularly for core fans who feel Xbox consoles have been devalued amid the company's multi-platform push in recent years. Fans have made their feelings loud and clear already, using the new Xbox Player Voice platform to push for exclusives. The thread with the most votes so far, over 6,000, reads, Xbox was built off of great game exclusives. You cannot sell any consoles without a reason to buy the console compared to your competition. So the big question is, can Microsoft follow Sony's lead and retreat from a multi-platform approach? Microsoft has a number of first-party titles due out this year already earmarked for PS5. For example, it has promised that Forza Horizon 6 will come to PS5 later this year. And if Forza Horizon 5 is any indication, not releasing the sequel on Sony's console would mean leaving hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. Meanwhile, Microsoft has said all future Halo games will be released on Sony's console, starting with this year's Halo campaign Evolved. Playground's Fable reboot is due out day one on PS5 this fall, and it just released Indiana Jones on Nintendo Switch 2. By opening the door to fan...
So, he did mention quickly, reverse their multi-platform strategy like Sony. But that's it. That's the most that they're ever going to do on IGN. I know that a lot of people not gonna like this, but I don't care. Like, in the heat of the console war during the PS3 versus Xbox 360, he was there. I remember this guy. He is a big Xbox fanboy. He was not with Greg and fucking Colin. Greg and Colin was covering the fucking PlayStation segment. This guy, that guy's the bro. And the craziest thing, he's still there. That's what's crazy. He's still there. And he has full control over what he says and what he covers. And they made 100% the decision not to cover the biggest story of the fucking week that Sony is pulling back from PC. But they give a whole segment to Xbox fans crying on a new feedback forum about wanting exclusives. And the IGN has to do reporting like, hey, bro, like, they already confirmed Forza for PlayStation. They already said that all Halo games are going to go to PlayStation. They already put Indiana Jones on the fucking Switch 2. Like, they can't stop. Sony can stop because Sony stopped in January of 2025. They already stopped. Xbox can't stop. PlayStation already stopped. And the big difference between the two of them stopping their strategy is one wasn't making any money. It's an easy decision to make. You're not going to lose any money. The other one made a ton of money on the other platforms. So they're not going to leave. One would be hurt by leaving the strategy, and the other one wouldn't even notice. That's PlayStation. PlayStation leaving PC, they're not going to notice. They're going to make that revenue up somewhere else. Hey, it is what it is.
Feedback in this way, Microsoft is creating a growing sense of hope within the community, so it will be interesting to see if Microsoft follows up by addressing the top requests. Microsoft clarified in its announcement, building across a large global platform means weighing a lot of inputs, but better visibility helps close the gap between what you tell us and what you see happen next on Xbox. All this talk of Xbox exclusives comes at a time when Sony has ditched PC for its narrative single-player games, which means the likes of Housemarque's Seros, Sucker Punch's Ghost of Yotei, and Insomniac's Marvel's Wolverine, and presumably Naughty Dog's Intergalactic The Heretic Prophet, will all remain PS5 exclusives, but it still leaves the door open for Sony's multi-platform games to continue to come to PC. Moving on, but sticking with Xbox.
You see how he covers the news but doesn't make it a big deal, but it's a big fucking deal, and goes back to fucking Xbox. You gotta love IGN. I mean, if you look at IGN's logo, do you not see the fucking X that was always there? It was always an X in IGN. Always. I mean, you can't make this fucking shit up. But the whole thing is Xbox can't copy PlayStation. They can't. They can't fucking copy PlayStation. They may want to, but they're not going to have the same luck. Let's go take a look at I want to save this video too. I don't know if he's gonna make sense in that video. I can't stand this piece of shit, but it's best to be honest and not hide this from you guys. So, Clint Eastwood lied to everybody again. Let me just read this off. It says, insane, everything revealed. Xbox Games Showcase 2026 Gears E-Day Direct. Thumbnail, it says, Xbox Games Showcase revealed. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. Nothing was revealed today. Nothing was revealed yesterday. Nothing's about to be revealed tomorrow. No, they're not revealing shit, bro. Nothing was revealed. And he insinuates anything related to, what is that? There's that one game that's similar to Infamous. And then on the other side is the Ninja Turtles. I understand that they have to hustle people on YouTube and lie to people in order to get clicks and shit. But man, that is so fucking disrespectful that they play in the fans' face and think how stupid you guys are, that you're going to look at that and click. But, you know, Xbox fan is made up of idiots. Look, 43,000 views in 9 hours. There's a lot of Xbox fans that just want to believe. And they don't even give a fuck if it looks too good to be true. They just want to believe. I'm just being 100% honest. They just want to believe. Don't know what that's about. Colin claimed that he got hacked, and if he didn't get his account back, he was going to leave YouTube forever. It's kind of weird to see that he was still on YouTube 7 hours ago live streaming. So any and everything he says about getting hacked or whatever, I'm not taking any of that shit seriously. Going for it. Nope. I'm good. This game I wanna
cover for a bank job.
I'm gonna be honest.
Don't need the old spider sense to figure out there's trouble downtown. Watch out, these bugs have been sent by Annihilus himself.
I would love to play this game. I need to get this. I think it's currently on sale. I might just pick this shit up just out of support.
I need to recharge.
This shit looks so fucking fun.
Fury.
This shit is fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, not hilarious. This is so fucking cool.
Burn them up, Genie.
Be gone.
Nice. Yeah, that's dope. That's fire right there. That's fucking complete fire. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't think you know, they got E-Day they got to show off. They got to talk or show off more Fable or confirm it for this year with a release date. That would be nice. They got to show off Halo. That's going to be interesting to see how that's going to go, if they're still going to bring it to PlayStation. When we get through the State of Play, the Summer Games Fest, and Xbox's Showcase, and those games are still, you know, confirmed to come to PlayStation, it will be over for them on this chapter of the console war. They will have lost. The fact that PlayStation is reversing before PlayStation 6, PlayStation understands the importance of not putting your game on another platform and hoping that people will just magically want to buy your shit. That doesn't happen. You know, that's just not going to happen. That's what I'm fucking talking about. You go to PlayStation's channel, they make like, this is the longest they've ever kept. Actually, there was a point where they took this off and they put Diablo, and then I think the following day, maybe hours later, they put Soros back up, and they kept Soros back up for the entirety of the time. That's what what they're telling people is that they believe in the game and they believe in exclusives. When you come to PlayStation's channel, you're going to see the latest exclusive. That's Soros. That's not going to PC. You know, that's what you're seeing. It's a strong, strong message. And again, like I say, I think that a lot of PC people, they just do not understand it. Yeah, they do not understand it. And it's perfectly fine, because they're never going to understand it. Oh, hold on. I'm going into the game. We're not gaming right now. There's obviously something else we want to talk about. Well, more show than talk, but I'm trying to remember where I put it at. I don't think I put it here. I think I gave it to the PlayStation Legion. Yeah, I gave it to you guys. Here it is. So we're over here on what is it called? The Xbox Player Voice feedbackportal.microsoft.com. Now, what's interesting is it's really not a website that it's called Xbox Player Voice. They just made that the community on the feedback portal for that's controlled by Microsoft. They're asking for something that Microsoft just financially will not fucking do. Jesus, what did I fucking do? I backed out of there. That's my fault. Like I was saying, they're asking for something that Microsoft can't do. It's 12,700 of those guys that upped it and are talking. You know, when it comes to the comments, it's only 1,000. These are rookie numbers. There are 22 flags. I don't know what that means. I don't think... Are they going to let us look at that? No, they're not going to let us look at that. I figured I was going to have to be logged in for that. What we can look at is the comments, though. We don't need to be signed in to look at the comments, which is funny. This one was 3 minutes ago. It says, I will never agree with Halo going to PlayStation. Halo is Xbox. It's what helped build the brand. How about making games for the console and not making remakes? Microsoft has bought every game studio, but has not put out any games at times. Feels like Microsoft was fulfilling PlayStation users when its own customers. Thank God for Asha. Okay. Okay. No, they're not gonna like this one. Yeah, we gotta talk about that one. Okay. What they're not understanding, right, is that we're a bigger customer than they are. Because of the buying power the PlayStation gamers have, and have put on display on multiple occasions for games ranging from indies to AA to AAA, all the way to Mega A, which is like Grand Theft Auto 5 and obviously 6. We can't be replaced when it comes to day one purchasing of a full $70 game. We can't be replaced. We know what to do. We know what great games are. We support them. And there's nothing that people online can tell us to not support that game. They're not on our level. They are playing a game they claim they love through a subscription at no additional cost on launch day. That means if you paid for a whole year of Game Pass Ultimate and Forza Horizon 6 comes out a year later after you paid, and you still have access to Game Pass, you haven't re-upped on Game Pass and you're playing it through Game Pass, you're not giving the developer you claim you love any additional money. Actually, they're not making anything off of you playing the game. All they can do is count you as an engagement number, which means jack shit to people that want to go pay gas to go to and from work that want to go pay for some fucking groceries for their family or take care of their kids. That engagement number means absolutely nothing. But Xbox fans think they're on our level when they hate spending money. They are the cousins of the PC port begging pirates. They are one and the same. They both don't like spending money. This is a hobby. And you don't have to be here if you don't want to be here. But it is weird to me that both the Xbox community and the PC community both believe that everything should almost be free. Xbox fans deep down believe that. They just don't say it publicly. PC fans say it publicly on multiple occasions. I find that funny and weird at the same time. Well, that's the thing, man. Prince G, I love to agree with you guys, but I'm not going to do that and take an L. So when it comes to like PlayStation and Nintendo games, it depends on which game you talk about, which time period you talk about. Like on average right now going forward, PlayStation is not going to put their games over there, but all of the other PlayStation games that are over there, and there's a lot, they are still playable. When it comes to Nintendo, they've already emulated the Switch a while ago, and they are already playing a lot of those games on their PC through emulation. So, they don't really need a PlayStation or a Nintendo Switch. What Nintendo could do is do a little bit better on protecting their code or upgrade their fucking technology and be on PlayStation's level. What PlayStation is doing, which is one of the best things, is just cutting off the PC community and no longer putting games on that platform. I think that it's much more effective than what Nintendo is doing. Nintendo needs to upgrade everything. It is way too fucking easy to emulate their shit. They've done it this gen, and the PC fans have done it last gen when it came to emulating and stealing from Nintendo. That's why PC-centric ROM websites are always in fucking court with Nintendo, because they're always fucking stealing, Yeah, I refer to myself as a nerd. I don't want to be referred to as one of those guys. I'm gonna call them the PC port begging pirates. They were port begging for multiple years, over 10 years. I've only known of these guys for 10 years, but it seems like they existed even longer than that. And then they pirate everything. They don't believe in buying anything. They just love stealing. Exclusives are responsible for providing a reason to purchase hardware. Exclusivity is the most important factor for brand success. Now, see, this is what I'm saying. They're saying all of this shit now, but they didn't believe in exclusives anymore when they were trying to attempt to persuade Sony to follow their failed strategy. The journalists, even people from the PC community in disguise, were trying to convince Sony to not believe in their own game fan base. Y'all crazy. Well, guys, we started at what, 6:30? We gotta stay here until like 8:30. I can't stay here all night because I do got work in the morning. But what I do want to do is I want to get some of this stuff off the page so we can take a look at a couple more things here. So, I mean, I do like that they're all coming together and they're begging for exclusives, but not a single one of them are saying we want exclusives, we want to buy them. They're just talking about how important exclusives are. They're not like if they were important, you would buy them. You wouldn't play them through Game Pass. So that's my problem with all this. It seems fake. Listen to this one. This is interesting. An hour ago, I would honestly support Xbox if they got rid of Game Pass to make their games exclusive to Xbox and PC. That's not exclusive. You have it on 2 platforms. That's multi-platform. This is one of the biggest things I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm kind of happy I'm saving it till last. Why is it okay? I'm gonna zoom in over here, and we're gonna go over here. Why is it okay if an Xbox game goes to PC, and PC fans don't tease Xbox fans about the game no longer being exclusive, right? But when PlayStation had their games on PC, I say had because they're not doing it anymore, PC fans would tease PlayStation fans about the game not being exclusive. So if a game that was exclusive to PlayStation goes to another game, obviously that makes the game multi-platform. You cannot use that in the discussion of the console war to brag about your hardware or otherwise, because guess what? It's multi-platform. Now, Xbox has weaker hardware than PS5 and PS5 Pro, especially when you factor in PSSR 2.0. So when I say, oh, the majority of gaming PCs in the United States are not on the level of a PS5 Pro running the same exact game that you have access to, like a Spider-Man 2, that's a factual statement. Trust me, I've done more than enough research. You can fight me on that one. On the other hand, with Xbox, if Xbox fans were even brave enough or had the balls enough to tell that to a PC fan, they would be wrong. That's how weak the Xbox is. So, I mean, again, the logic is flawed. It's like, well, if the game is on PC and Xbox, it's still exclusive to Xbox. If the game is on PlayStation and PC, it's a multi-platform title. Like, the hypocrisy from both communities, the Xbox community and the PC community, is why I'm happy that both of them are suffering right now. They are the most toxic group of gamers I've ever seen. In this day and age, everything gets leaked. But I do hope that, like they've been doing for a very long time, they keep things under wraps. I do hope that. They're not Ubisoft. They're not. You shouldn't be afraid or worried. That's the last thing you should be worried about a state of play getting leaked. You know, there's going to be fake leaks that are going to be floating around soon. But yeah, this is again the double standard that I see is not good. Again, Forza Horizon 6 will not release on PS5. Again, I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor of looking at a good competitive strategy from Xbox. If that means taking games off of PlayStation, I'm perfectly fine with it. However, how long will Xbox survive without any type of new revenue from PlayStation gamers? That's the real question. Will they be able to make enough revenue from the Xbox community themselves? No. Obviously, that's why they're releasing everything on day and date on PC, despite piracy. We still haven't seen anything Phantom Blade since 2 years ago. They've shown some gameplay, but I'm gonna be for real. I'm not picking that game up. I already made the decision not to. I was really disappointed that the developer made us wait 2 years after showing it to us. In such, I would say, in a polished state. Made me feel like we could get in the game a couple months from now. But they announced that it was 2 years. 2 years later. So it's not something I like. They're not making enough money from these fucking posers. They want exclusives back, but not a single one of them said, I'm gonna buy your game. Time definitely flies. But like I said, this is the funniest thing. If anybody needs this link, I have the link. I'll put it in the chat actually right now so I don't forget. But I feel like this is one of the funniest things that I have access to, is seeing these guys cry and bitch and moan. And that's another thing. I did, before I get up out of here, I did see a leak about Hogwarts Legacy being shown off during a state of play. It's definitely this one. But we don't know what it's going to look like or how, good or bad it's going to look, if it's soon or if it's still a few months away. But I do think that was pretty cool. It's a fucking hilarious thing that we're looking at right here. These guys are begging for exclusives, and not a single one of them said, I will pay for them. Okay, everyone. Me personally, I'm getting sleepy and I can't do this much longer today. Gotta work my ass off. There's no stream tomorrow for one like this that I know of. But tomorrow's Thursday and I'm gonna have all eyes everywhere, because after what Sony did for the first half of this week, there's only 2 more days left on the normal week. This weekend, it's going to be crazy. Now, we are heading into Memorial Day weekend, so we're going to see what happens with that. But after Memorial Day, we could expect to get some more information on the days of play for this year. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, as of right now, it's getting late, and we talked about a lot, but let me go get that link for you guys right now. So at any time, you guys will be able to look at Xbox fans crying about exclusives anytime you want. So at any time, you guys will be able to look at... Oh, okay. That was an echo. Okay. So there's the link. Actually, let me go